Test, test, test. Attention to all audiences, our program is about to begin shortly. I would like to remind everyone before we begin our program today. To viewers, please give your full attention during the program. If you have any questions, please type it in the chat box and we will answer the questions during the Q&A slot at the end of the session. I hope that everyone can give their full attention to ensure that everything runs smoothly. All the cooperation is much appreciated. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Greetings to all the moderators and panels. Also, to the participants who are watching through YouTube live stream. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to everyone. Before we start, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nur Akila Sufia binti Muhammad Shahid and I will be your MC for today. This program's last day is today, as everyone is aware. As a result, please ensure that everyone can hear what must be said today, because it will come in handy in the future. Please do not hesitate to ask if you have any doubts or queries. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any time, let's hear a welcoming speech from Yang Berusaha T.S. Dr. Ermi bin Abdul Kadir, Deputy Rector of Student Affairs, University Teknologi Mara, Terengganu Branch, Malaysia.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome all the guests, speakers, and participants from many countries to the International Student Representative Council Conference Post-COVID-19 Leadership Strategies, ICRC 2022. I'm delighted to see so many of you today participating in such spectacular and validated event through StreamYard. And some of you also joining this program via the YouTube channel. Students who already joined this program yesterday, and this is, I think, the second session. And I've been informed that we have succeeded in getting and also giving enlightenment for all the students, and also not forgetting students from abroad who joined this conference. Before we start, I would like to express my sincere aspiration to all the committee members who have generously helped us making this event a success. First of all, I'm also believe that this event can be give you lots of benefits for students, as it contains good and useful knowledge for students where you all can apply in your daily life and also in your future professions. Even though this program has ended successfully, I really hope that we'll could still be able to get connected and continue our communication and share our thoughts about the good topic and content in the future. Moreover, in case of any student wish to host some programs with us, whether through the student affairs units or through the student association, we are very appreciate and feel honored to collaborate with you all. In such a great moment we have had through this program, for the first meeting until the last, we can create bonds and each other and get to share our own ideas, experience, and our opinions. Many students here today, I know that you are from miles away, and so the fact that we are very far away and yet we could still keep in touch and be able to work jointly. It is very indescribable to feel and honored because even though that you are at very far distances, we can still collaborate and try and help to discuss and give our thoughts towards the objective of this conference. He proved that with all the circumstances, it is not a restraint for us to be able to work together. I'm very proud of all the students that have managed to complete such a significant event, where it showed that we can collaborate with the students from universities, not in Malaysia only. We can also work with our colleague from university abroad. And this event and so this opportunity will give you a good experience and also knowledge of sharing how we can uh, get an event and we can accomplish the objective of conference together. It is an honor to stand here hoping that there will be more implementation of the program like this in the future. Lastly, before I end my speech, I would like to congratulate all the students who are very hard and very focused to make sure that this conference meet their objective, and also they are also learning a lot of new knowledge and also improve their communication skill. And also, I wish you all that the best and good luck. Use the opportunity to improve yourself. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you Yang Berusaha TS Dr. Ermi bin Abdul Kadir for the inspiring speech just now. Without further ado, I would like to invite Vice President of Electrical Engineering Student Association EESA UiTM Terengganu Branch Malaysia, Siti Ulfa Sofia binti Sheikh Izham, as our moderator to start our third session with the topic Working Together, Increase Involvement and Develop Stronger Connections. Along with Ulfa, there are three invited panelists from abroad comprising Malaysia, Indonesia, and Japan. Allow me to introduce these three panelists. The first one is Harinesh Anak Lelaki Selvaraju from University Technology Petronas UTP Malaysia. Next is Kairina Sariza Mulyana from University of Sumatra Utara USU Indonesia. The other one is Taiki Kawashima from Gunma University, Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to have a photography session with the speakers. All of you are required to turn on your camera for this photo session. Everybody ready?
Everybody get ready. I'm taking the picture in one, two, three.
Thank you everyone for the cooperation. Now, the floor is yours, Ulfa, to start our third session with the topic Working Together, Increase Involvement, and Develop Stronger Connections.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to our audience and panelists. Welcome back to our program. I'm Siti Ulfa Sofia binti Sheikh Izham and I will be your moderator for our first session this morning. As said by our MC, our first topic of discussion today is working together, increase involvement, and develop stronger connections. Before we begin, I would like everybody to meet our panelists for this session. With us, we have our first panelist, Harinesh Anak Lelaki Salvaraju from University Technology Petronas, Malaysia. He is currently pursuing his bachelor's in computer science and has held many honorable positions in organizations over the span of the last few years. He is currently Some of his most prominent roles are as the Executive Committee of Academic Affairs in the Student Representative Council of UTP, Vice President of Syntec UTP, co-founder and treasurer of the International Association for Information System UTP, Student Chapter AIS UTP SC, Core Team Google Developers, Student Chapter UTP GDSC UTP, and as well as being a part of the Young Developer Microsoft community. He is also an experienced leader appointed as Assistant Project Director for Google Flutter Workshop UTP 2022, Event Manager for Instagram Speech Competition 2020, Montage Director for Orientation Week UTP 2020, Montage Director for Petronas Education Sponsorship Program 2020, and our list actually goes on. However, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first speaker to take the floor.
Thank you, moderator. Hello, salam sejahtera and wanakkam and manhau from Malaysia. I bid to all audience. I'm Harinesh from University Technology Petronas, Malaysia, and first year student in Bachelor in Computer Science. As mentioned before by our beloved moderator, I'm quite actively involved in many organizations, and I believe that many out there will be asking like how I joined all those organizations and how did I get all those positions. So it all started after I got my scholarship from Petronas to enter UTP, where I enrolled as a foundation student in computer science. So as an introvert from my secondary school, so I try to feel like, what can I get? How can I pursue my study and get a good relationship with my colleagues? And how can I enhance my leadership as well? So I joined the foundation student ambassador club, which is ACE Force in UTP during the foundation time, where it's a main platform for them to aspire young leaders to apply and enhance their leadership and communication skill. So from there, uh, I learned a lot of new things about leadership, how to be a proper leader, how to take up a team, how to manage an organization, and etc. And as a technology enthusiast, so I focus on technology clubs in UTP, which is such as Syntec, an association for information system, and GDSC, which is a Google Developer Club, and of course, Microsoft Community. So as a coder, as a programmer, I mainly focus on that because I hope that that kind of clubs will help enhance my academic performance in my bachelor in computer science as well. So, and how do I balance all those things is based on my schedules, because I really have a neat schedule every day. I make sure that uh, most of my things that I'm doing in academic and what I'm doing in organization doesn't clash each other. So what about SRC, and how do I get at SRC? Because SRC in UTP is a Student Representatives Council, which is the highest body in UTP. So how do I get there is we have certain campaigns, we have parties. However, it depends on how much effort you are going to put uh, to help out all the students and the development of UTP. Yeah, it based on, do you want to put on effort and do you want to put on uh, your interest in it. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Harinash. I think I'm speaking on behalf of all our audience today that we are really excited to hear more from you. Moving on to our second panelist, who is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in management at the University of Sumatera Utara, Indonesia. She is also the head of public relations and media in UKM startup SGCUSU, and once led a project between two universities to conduct a comparative study and develop organizational branding. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Karina Sariza Mulyana.
Hello everyone. I am Khairina Sariza and I am from the University of Sumatera Utara, currently representing University of Sumatera Utara, and I am from Indonesia. I'm in the Department of Management of Economic and Business. And also, as Ulfa mentioned before, that I am the head of public relations and media in UKM startup SGC USU. That is how we call it. And how I joined my organizations is that the first thing that I'm interested about these organizations is that how they could make such an amazing student with so many achievements and also many recognitions, and what also not they also not besides is that they also have a great relationship with each other, and they focus on science, leadership, and also achievement. So it is the first thing that makes me interested to join these organizations. And the first time that I met their leader is the leader is got an emotional development with me, and they can connect with my vision. So the first thing that I think the most important to be in an organization is how your vision is hand in hand with the vision of organization. I think that's how I got to this UKM SGC startup also. And through by joining this organization, I really have to put a lot of effort because in this organization, I have a certain expectations that we have to be an outstanding students in our faculty, and also we have to gain some projects and also some relations with the lecturer and also the other students in universities. So I think by gaining these positions in my organization, I gain a lot of knowledge and also a lot of relations. The first time that I joined is on 2020. That is the first time that COVID come into Indonesia and we are restricted to go outside. It's a bit hard actually because everything goes online and I can't meet a lot of people. But by adapting to the situations, we also could uh, still join everything that we already planned for, and we also create many outstanding students in our university and also gain many relations. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina. That was very, very interesting. And I think a lot of people can also relate with setting expectations as leaders and building good relationships with the people around us. Next, our final panelist for the session, Taiki Kawashima from Gunma University, Japan. He is in the first year of graduate school in mechanical engineering and the former vice president of the Aikido Club. He is also experienced in managing club activities, training guidance, and activities for the resumption of activities for after COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our third panelist to the floor.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the early morning. I'm Taiki Kawashima. I'm a first year student in Gunma University and master and country. I live in Japan. I specialize in mechanical engineering and research on plasma medical treatment. I belong to the Aikido club. I have been practicing Aikido since I was about 5 years old and was in the club in junior high on the senior high school. I like the martial arts very much, and of course, I joined the Aikido club at university in 2018. And next question, how I get to your position in the organization? Before the corona disaster started, I held the position of deputy director and mainly in charge of training. Later, when the corona pandemic broke out, I organized online social event to keep the club alive and loads the paperwork to restart the Aikido club. I then recruited new members, started the club, and even now I participated in the training and teach the younger members as an advisor. So good day to you. And I'd like to talk about my experience today. Thank you.
Thank you, Taiki, for the wonderful sharing, and thank you, panelists, for being with us today. So, without further ado, I'd like to open the session with the very first question that we have for our panelists. Um, as we know, in any organization, we have organizational charts, a hierarchy of leaders, you might say. So, our question is, what leadership strategies do your organizations have in place, and how do they contribute to the smoothness of running your organization? Um, I want to say, Kairina, would you like to share first?
Okay.
All right. Floor's yours.
All right. Thank you, Ulfa. So the question is, let me repeat it. What is the leadership strategy in my organizations? So in my organization, we have not a really strict, not really strict system, because many organizations in our university have this like a lot of hierarchy. So, but in our organizations, we implemented a more connective and a family relationships with the members, and also what the thing that the most important is that the main thing that drive our organizations is the unification of our vision and missions. And this is the most important thing that we value the most. And to achieve that, of course, it is starting from the communications. And now the communications that we built comes from the decentralized system that we implemented, where we put trust in each leader in each divisions to communicate more with their members. But that doesn't mean that our top management doesn't interact with the members, or the other leaders in other fields doesn't interact with them. We usually hold gatherings like twice in a month, and in these gatherings will be filled with brainstorming activities and also games, which we call anonymous interactions. And this activity contains an evaluations for each members without knowing the writers. So everyone, regardless of their positions, can reflect about themselves, and that can be an evaluations, also an emotional bonding with among the members, and this will create also a sense of comfort, and so that the members can communicate effectively and comfortably with each other. I think that's my answer so far.
All right, thank you, Karina. And I think I'd have to agree with your statement about communication. I think communication really does help assist any organization in thriving and meeting their goals. Now, let's hear from Taiki. How would you say, what leadership strategies do you think your organizations have in place, and how would you say they contribute to the smoothness of running your organization?
Okay, thank you. So before I answer this question, let me define what leadership means to me. When you hear the word leader, you may image of the president of a country or the president of a company. And while these people lead their organizations with industry, they tend to see the oh, okay. They tend to see people in their organizations not as human beings with feelings, but as individual resources. I don't like it. Also, I think it's certainly not a bad thing when the number of people increases. Therefore, I consider leadership to be the power to emphasize it, which is the ability to the close to human feelings in order to decide the direction of the organization. For example, um, in my crop, the corona disaster, it was difficult to find new crew members this year. However, I explained to the existing members what it meant that there would be to sorry that there would be no junior in the future. I asked them what they want to do to make our activities more enjoy and flexible, and then I asked them to come up with idea spontaneously. In other words, I contributed by listening to each member. Sorry, I contributed by listening to each members and motivating time to have a fun. Thereby, okay. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Taiki. I think we can all relate with that one. Especially as leaders, it is very important for us to be able to listen to our other peers and, of course, listen to the people who we are constantly working with. I think a lot of people can take that away from your speech. Now, finally, we can hear from our fellow Malaysian, Harinesh. What do you have to say about this?
Alright, okay. So in my organizations, so in general in as University Technology Petronas, so for clubs and society we have 8 clusters. So we have academic, art and culture, business and entrepreneurship, leadership and development, martial arts, media and publication, sport and recreation, students and student support unit. So first when you enter UTP you will have to make sure what kind of interest are you in before you entering all those clubs. So after that, uh, what we define leaders here is it doesn't matter whether you are a president, you are a vice president. I personally believe that every member in an organization is a leader because that's how they stand up, how they influence other people around them, and most of the strategies we use is first is to define and make sure that we fully understand the vision of an organization. Let's say you are a technology club. So what kind of vision are you bringing into the club for the next 5 years? Are you going to be more on competition? Are you going to send your committee members to competition, international level competition, or are you willing to share more regarding uh, knowledges about it? So you must have a vivid vision that can picture your future of an organization. And then the next one is we will really encourage recognition of the members in an organization. So as a leader, you need to know acknowledge every single member of your organization. So how do you make sure that they doesn't feel left out? They doesn't feel like, oh, I am here but I doesn't exist at all. Like maybe they are just a normal member, or maybe they just active members. So they need to know, okay, I am here, I am supporting this organization, so I'm giving all out for this organization, and what in return will they get? So that is very important. And the next one is speaking from heart to heart, because emotional communication is really important. So a leader should have that kind of emotional communication. We should talk more to the members. Like in UTP, I believe that uh, most of our club will have almost every week we will have meetings either online or F2F, because I do believe that after COVID-19, one of the main benefit of it is we can have virtual meetings rather than physical meeting. I believe before this we will do all the meetings physically, but however after the COVID, it give a changes to it. Oh, why don't we use these platforms, MSTs? Why don't we use Google Meet? So this kind of social platform is really good as a strategy that we can lessen the time. Let's say, because if you want to go to a physical meeting, it will take almost maybe 30 minutes for your preparation. So if you just do it on online, first, okay, it will reduce all those chit chats most probably, and then it will focus directly to the what you're going to bring on for the meetings, all those brainstorming sessions. And then the next strategy I will say is delegate and empowerment. So you must make sure that you as a leader delegate all the tasks perfectly, and make sure you explain to them what all are the tasks is. Some of the members, maybe they are new members, some of them have experience in that task, doing that task, but they when they are doing certain events or collaboration with other universities or any workshops, they tend to forgot, okay, what am I supposed to do at this point of time. So you should make sure that a clearer perspective of the job scopes are given to them. And then the next one in an organization is continuation education. In organization, let's say you have a media team, so you must make sure the seniors in that committee members, make sure all those new members, new recruited members, have the same knowledge, skills uh, as they have previously, such as maybe using in Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator to make a poster. So all the soft skill is really important. So I think that's all for my leadership strategies. Mainly is focusing on how you can communicate with the members and how you emotionally make sure that they have a good mental health, happy, and most importantly, engage with among each others. Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant. I do have to agree with you on the having good communication and having good relationships with the people you are working with, as well as the part where you said about making sure that everybody's mental health is okay and that everybody is happy when they are working. I think that is really important, especially during times like these. You never know who is struggling, you never know who needs help. I think it's really, really important, and I'm really glad that you highlighted that as well. Um, all right, so moving on to our next question. What does it mean by working together? And leadership and teamwork have a direct impact on the ability for an organization to carry out its mission. Do you guys agree with this statement? Would any of you like to volunteer to go first, to answer this question first?
Yep, I think I'll go first.
All right.
Can
You
I?
can. Yep. Okay.
Okay, so I think that teamwork is a mutual task that to achieve the same goal, without having to feel that the highest or we are the highest or the lowest. So regardless of any positions, teamwork is to achieve the same goal, and we can illustrate it like a building. A house without a roof will leak, and also a house without a pillar will collapse. That's what teamwork is all about. In my organizations, we tend to like what Harina said, that we have to make them feel that they are doesn't left out, and we try to empower each other, and it is important to build the teamwork in our organizations and where everyone is tied to each other and also need each other. And of course, I agree with that statement because these two things, leadership and also teamwork, are an inseparable unit. It is an organization without leadership is like a water that flows from upstream to downstream. It doesn't have a definite directions and it is only follow the flow. And if the organizations are oriented to only to leaderships or organizations which have a big thirst for positions, it will be like people who climb a mountain, but they doesn't get to reach the top. They only get tired and without getting the beauty to see the nature, and it will while it only can be obtained by when they reach the top. And if and teamwork must leadership and teamwork must go hand in hand, so that we can go to our right and our desired directions, like an organization where we have a vision and also our visualization for organizations, and also we can bring advantage to our surroundings, like our organizations. We tend to give many trainings and also um, like a sort of webinar for students, not only for our members but also for our university students, where we give them an empowerment about how to be active as a student, whether while this COVID-19 is surrounding us with restricting us to go out. I think that is a very big problem for the organizations, especially in our university. A lot of organizations has been stuck with what are we gonna do with these conditions. But I think that this social connection with Zoom or many platform like that allow us to be more connecting with each other, and also we get to experience many things. So I think um, whether it is whether on what conditions we can also build teamwork and leaderships, and that is how the importance of leadership and teamwork to lead the organizations. Thank you. I think that's from me.
Thank you very much, Karina. I absolutely loved your analogies and also the part about staying connected with people and using the platforms we have. Next, any of you, Taiki and Harinash, whoever that can, whichever one of you that want to go next, you're absolutely welcome to.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Taiki? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Applause, yours.
Okay. So working together is in a sense of a fusion. Fusion. Uh, in the first place, people cannot understand each other completely. Okay. No matter how much they talk to each other, this is because they are strangers. Okay. I think you have to adapt yourself to the other person's character and needs. I have little experience of actual work, but if we don't trust each other, it is difficult to ask questions and it is difficult to achieve our goals. For example, when I was working part-time job in a restaurant, I could not fully understand others. This was because I could not talk them to properly understand their personalities and communicate with them. I didn't fully achieve my goal. And in other words, working is getting over together mentally toward a signal goal, anticipated, anticipating each other's character and behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, Taiki. I think a lot of us can learn from what you have said. Harinash, what about you? What do you think working together is And do you agree with the statement that I gave?
Yeah, absolutely. So like leadership and teamwork cannot separate with each others, because where comes the leader if there's no a team? So it's always start from a team. So what does it mean by like working together? Working together means like we need to make sure we have a vision. Like I said previously, we have a proper vision. So from the vision we take out, okay, in a team, maybe there's organization chart. We will have certain teams that takes up certain roles in their positions. So as when you have teamworks, you will bring us closer, so that you have a better relation with your own teammates. And if you have a better teamwork, then it can lighten the loads of everyone involved. When you work together as a team, no one bears the responsibility of handling everything on their own. Okay. And then the next one will be we will have more ideas. Let's say you are just working two people or three people. Maybe you will have the ideas to brainstorm 30 ideas at the same time. However, maybe the 30 ideas are just redundancy with each other. Like you're just repeating the same thing. We are not finding out the loopholes in every of the strategies, because every strategy I believe there will be a loophole. So if you have a team, different people have their different mindset. The way they think is different. So it will give a better problem solving strategies in future as well. And then another working together thing is when you work together, you get to know each other's personality even more better. Like the way they act in certain case studies, how they reflect themselves in certain activities. So this will help them to help the leaders, especially to put those members in which kind of sectors, which kind of, let's say, this member, when because when the recruiting time, you enter as a media person. However, when you are in the club, your mindset change. You think of like as a high com, you think of like how to solve a problem. So that will give you a opportunity to do that, actually solving a new problem and give out more benefits to the organization itself. Yeah, that's it from me.
All right, thank you, Harinesh. And I think actually a part of what Harinesh said actually goes hand in hand with Taiki's statement. I think Taiki mentioned something about not knowing people enough to be able to work together, and Harinesh mentioned teamwork allows you to actually get to know people. So I think that actually goes hand in hand, actually complements Taiki's statement very well. All right, so moving on to the next question. I think some of you have touched on this, so maybe guys can conclude. Why do you think teamwork is important for leaders? Who would like to go first this time? Harinash, you
Um,
want to go first? Oh, Karina? Okay.
no, I just want to offer to Harinis actually.
Uh, okay, yeah, we'll offer Harinash. Harinash, why don't you go first for this time?
All right, okay, sure.
All
Okay,
right,
thank
cool.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so again, you're talking about why teamwork is important for leaders. So let's say the importance of leaders is in an organization. You must think as an organization as a maybe a business mind person. So the first thing you will make sure is the job get done. So you must have job satisfaction, so that uh, as a leader you must delegate all those tasks to them. The first thing you must make sure is the job is get done by the end of the day without giving stress to all your team members, because we know that after COVID-19 there is quite a lot of number of maybe those workers getting out of the organizations because they feel stressed out, a lot of workloads. So making sure that you are giving them tasks, you are giving them a certain deadline, but most of the time, not most of the time, like there will be certain times where that task can't be done by the team members. So you need to understand their situation, because their perspective, maybe they have their own problems at that certain times. So you can't just say that, okay, I already give you 1 week time, so why didn't you finish it? Because even if you give them 1 week time, there are a lot of things maybe going through in their life, because the way they think, because sometimes the people may get down on certain things. We are all students, right? So we have certain things coming up, suddenly we will have certain notifications coming up. Tomorrow you have tests at this certain time, so you need to cancel all those other plans. So it really depends on teamwork. Let's say you, one of your member cannot work on that certain times, you need to have a replacement. So the leader should have that empowerment to make sure that there is a replacement for every task he is doing. And then the next one would be, uh, why the teamwork is important is for higher reliability and efficiency. So like, if you have higher reliability, that can make sure that the errors in your organization is minimalized, so that more people solve problem rather than just creating more problems. Okay, and then the about efficiency is how well you can get. Let's say you have a KPI of you want to finish 10 tasks in 1 month. So the leader must make sure, okay, let's see the trend. Let's see the trend of first month. Maybe for the first month, all the committee members are working really hard because they are still new. They have the energy to drive through the vision of the thing. But the maybe on the second month, your the 10 tasks you given every month is not being done. So you must make sure what actually is happening. So the leader should always be emotionally conscious of what actually happening in the organization, engage more with them. Just the first thing is, just don't make sure that, just always make sure that they don't feel left out. That's the main thing. All right, okay, that's all from me. I think I'll pass it down to Taiki or.
All right, thank you very much, Harinash. I think we can all definitely see that the trend you're going for, not the trend you're going for, but like what you'd like to highlight here is about being emotionally aware as leaders. And I think that's, something that is also really, really important. Okay, between Taiki and Harina, which one of you want to go next?
Okay, maybe I'll
Oh,
add something. Oh, you can, Taiki can go first.
um,
Taiki.
thank you. So I can't speak a long speech, but to the point, leaders individual before they are leaders. So leaders are one person. There's only so much one person can do. Just as machine uh, does not work with a single switch, a toggle switch, or a gear lever, it needs other person. Let me explain this with a more familiar example. I made a leaflet which is written where um, where we practice Aikido, or when let's do Aikido together, something. To get a new student in my club, but I couldn't design and distribute them by myself. It's too busy, and I don't have enough time. That where teamwork coming, and I needed people around me to help me distribute or design. So then I collect design, and therefore a leader needs teamwork or a member who can make the idea reality. I think that's okay.
That's all. Okay. Thank you, Taiki. Again, I think that closely related to a part of what Harinash said about delegating tasks as leaders and making sure that everybody has like an equitable amount to do and to contribute to the club. Karina, you're next. What do you think? Why do you think teamwork is important for leaders?
Okay. Okay. Actually, I'm a bit agree with what Taki said, that a leader will before being a leader, he is an individual. So by being an individual, also there is they have their own weaknesses. And today I have a lot of analogies. One of the analogy that I heard from my senior and my organizations, if you want to go faster, you can go alone. But if you want to go further, you have to work with someone else, because every individual has it has its own limitations. By going fast, maybe we can go to our directions with in a short of time. But sometimes it is only short term oriented, and we doesn't gain so much for, and we doesn't give that many positive impact. But by working together with someone in our side, there are more paths that we can be passed, and also there are benefits that we can be provide for each other. And also, actually, in our organizations, why teamwork is important is, the first thing is that to build the future generations. Because if what Harina said, that the members have to engage with one another. So by doing this teamwork and also many activities that involve the members, they can have a relationship and also the emotional bonding, which will lead them to make better future generations, and also have a better teamwork when in the next period. So I think that is my answer. Thank you. If Thank you. That's my answer. And if I may ask, can I ask something to Harinesh? And also
Yeah, yes, of course.
Um, how many members do you have in your organizations, actually?
Alright, okay, so for me, okay, for SRC, we have almost, because in UTP we only have 7,000 plus students. We are a medium-sized university. So for SRC, we have almost 35 members. But for Syntech, we got almost 200 plus members. Yep. It varies from what kind of clubs I am in. Yep.
Mm, okay. So do you have any difficulties in knowing each member or like that?
Yeah, so sometimes, I mean, most of the time I will acknowledge each one of them, but sometimes there are loopholes there where I might sometimes they must message me, and then it takes times for me to reply to them because I myself as a student, so my first priority will be academic.
Mm,
So when that happened, it always like sometimes people will think that you are a bad leader, but they should understand that leader is not all perfect. We are not supermans. We are just normal humans. We still have to think about our own mental health, how we can give our time for our own self. Yeah.
okay, I think that.
All right. Karina or Taiki, if you guys have any other questions to ask each other, you guys can go ahead and ask. No? All right.
No.
Okay. Firstly, Karina, thank you. I think what you said about why teamwork is important for leaders and relating it to what Taiki and Harina said, I think it was absolutely great. Um, and I think also the theme so far that we have gotten is that we have to be really emotionally aware of the people we are working with. All right. So moving on to the next question that we have for you guys is that, okay, As we know, when we are in an institution or organization, we would meet a lot of leaders from different clubs. So, such as right now, you guys are leaders and you guys are meeting each other for the first time. What are the best ways you guys think you guys can support each other as leaders or as individuals itself? Um, yeah. So, who wants to go first?
Okay, I think I'll go first then.
All right.
Okay. So in the leadership system, we should. I think that we should never compete with each other, but we have to be competitive with in spreading good deeds. And we, as leaders, we don't feel that we should never feel that the most accomplished thing that we have to do is receiving good judgment from others. But it is to seek the best and the most positive impact that we can bring as leaders. And also we have, in supporting the other leaders, we have to look for the similarities from what we lead. And also we don't focus on the different differences. And by looking for these similarities, we will create collaborations and also brainstorming, uh, and this action will lead to an harmonizations that can create a new masterpiece or a new project. Like in my organizations, our leader will have a sort of meetings with other leaders, and also it can bring to a new project, or it's just a healing activities that where we go to many places, and sort of leadership training again from that helped by our universities for the leaders in every organizations. So I think by we also tend to like have a chit chat by counseling our emotional feeling that how do we bring these organizations to be better. Like we also we're just gonna give support by doing collaborations and also doing some activities that can heal us from the burden by being leaders. And also but actually the form of support that I think is the best is how to collaborate with each other and also bring the benefit for our organizations, and not only for our organization but also for the people that involve and also the people that we want to give and engage. I think that's from Ulfa.
Thank you, Karina. Actually, I want to add on to what Karina said about having similarities with other leaders and allowing that to bring collaborations in the future. I think apart from that, is that we also need to, I think, see each other's differences. I think our differences can actually complement each other. So, for example, I'm from the engineering faculty and you're in management, and I think we can help teach each other a lot of things. And, saying it out there right now, I would love to collaborate with any of you guys if you want to collaborate in the future. Okay, so next, Harinash or Taiki, you guys can go ahead and whichever one of you that want to go. I think Taiki looks like he's ready to talk.
Yeah.
All right, you
I'm
can go.
always the kind of person.
Okay.
Okay, so question is question is what's the best way for leaders to support other leaders? It's
Yes,
okay.
that's
Okay. So it's difficult. I think one way leaders can support leaders is to share the experience of things that have gone wrong, not success, wrong. A failure, examine failure experience. The answers may differ depending on the field, but there are many books about successful experience. However, there are few books about failures, and you have to be a good friend to want to talk about them. I have heard many stories of how to do this from other person. in the management of crop activities. However, many of them didn't go well because of the different organizational activity and form, members, and policy. So I began to think that it was important to listen to the stories of failure and take action to avoid the crisis. I had the opportunity to talk with students from other universities about the management of club activities. And these experiences led me to the share what went wrong with me. Okay, in addition to positive advice. Okay, so that's it.
Thank you, Taiki. That's definitely, I think, a different take on that. Like, instead of sharing your tips of success, you share like what happened to like make it go wrong. Actually, if you have a story to tell us about if anything went wrong in your organization that you would like to share right now, you're absolutely welcome to do that. Or if Karina and Harinash want to like divert from the question a little bit and want to tell us a little bit about maybe your stories of not so successful attempts, you're absolutely welcome to do that right now. And
Yep.
oh, okay, Karina. All right, you
So
can go ahead.
maybe in the previous period, it's a little bit burdening because I'm telling the the weaknesses in my organization, but I think it's okay for the share of experience. I think we we have um, tripping each other because of the choice of positions. I don't know if it is a choice of positions, but I think it starts from the what went wrong is how we visualize our vision. I think that in the past period we have tripped in the problem where our leaders in the leaders in uh, one division, they have a very big visualizations of their vision, but I think what went wrong is how they communicate their visions to the leader and also the member, and it caused a bit misunderstanding, and we got to a certain point where every members wanted to leave our organization, so it has become a hectic and also a bit not a bit, I think it's a big problem for our organizations where this um, this one perspective can bring many impact to the members by not being so clear to communicate their vision. And I think that is how important the communications for in organization to not to be tell clearly and also straight to the point, not telling like bring stories or also many flows. Like I think the communications in organization have to be straight to the point and also direct, so that couldn't bring any miscommunications. Because at that certain point, our organizations looks like it will collapse, and also we have hectic preparations because the leader in these divisions could bring a certain could live a certain perspective to among the members, and it become a judgmental situations where everyone doesn't trust each other. So at that certain point, we come to end it with solutions where we communicate with each other, and also we have a one-on-one talk with that certain leader in the divisions, and we able to clear the situation. So I think that is the most troublesome things that ever happened in my organization, and communication is the key, and also how we tell our stories, and also how we visualize our vision, individual visions to the organization, or how when we do meetings. I think how to communicate, to be able to communicate properly is important. So that's how we solve the problem. I hope that that situations didn't do any problem to my organization right now. I think that is one of my experience in my organizations.
All right. Thank you, Karina, for sharing with us that story. I think some of us can relate to that. But okay, going back to Harinesh, you still need to answer what are the best ways for leaders to support other leaders.
Alright, okay. So, okay, nice sharing from Karina just now about the problems in his organization. So, right. So, how leaders support leaders? So, okay, so right now, it's my first time seeing Taiki and Karina. So, maybe after this, we can do collabs because we are all leaders, right? Okay, so how leaders and support each other is number one is first thing, of course, is communication. How you communicate with another leader, how you start the communication actually. Like, let's say you want to initiate a conversation. So, how do you, because we are all leaders, if you're already leaders, we know you are maybe one of the, you have all those criteria of leadership, how you're going to manage your team, you are good in all the stuff. But when you meet up with another leader, the first thing they will ask is, what is your achievement? So I think we should avoid that kind of things because achievement doesn't determine how good you are in as a leader. What how good you are as a leader is based on how much you're gonna put your effort and how much changes you bring to that organization. All right. Okay. So when leaders communicate each other's right, so we can most probably brainstorm the problems. I kind of like how Taiki says that we should share the errors and the past mistakes we made in an organization rather than talking about the achievements, because that's how we can learn more rather than about the experience among each leaders. Other than that, I think that's it. Leaders communicating each other wouldn't be a problem at all. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Harinesh, for explaining more about that. Now we have a few extra questions that we would like to ask, and then we will go to the questions from the YouTube comments. So for the audience, if you have any questions, you can start leaving them now, and I will read to them as soon as we get through the questions that I already have prepared here. So the next question that I have for the panel is how to introduce teamwork to an organization. It's a very general question. Whatever you have done or whatever you think of doing in the future, I think can be explained here. Okay, who wants to go first? Okay.
Okay. Do Taiki want to go first?
Okay, thank
Okay,
you,
I think
As possible.
Yeah.
So teamwork. I think first of all, we have to realize that it is difficult for people to understand each other. If we want to cooperate with others, you have to discuss things with each other completely, not just talk one way to the others. Then the question, how can how can we introduce teamwork? It is better to discuss this thoroughly with the other person and build a relationship of trust where cooperation come naturally. Mm, this is it.
Okay. Thank you, Taiki. I think that also relates to everything else that we have talked about understanding one another in a organization and as leaders. Harinash or Karina, would you guys like to add on?
Yeah.
yep. I think Harines can go
Okay,
first.
it's okay. Karina, you go
Let's
first.
play rock, paper, scissors this out, to like
Okay.
determine who wants to go next.
I go.
All right.
Okay. I think that I also agree with what Taiki said. And the first thing is from me is that how to approach them personally with a good purpose. So we have to find out what they want and also what is his goals to join our organizations. And we have to equate that with the perceptions in our organizations. And from there, that with the emotional bonding and also like what Taiki said, we have to understand each other and also like we we are as an individual that the joining in organizations means that we have I'm sorry. Okay. So do you hear any voice in
A little bit,
uh
yeah. That's all right.
okay. So by creating this emotional bond and also understanding each other. And as by joining an organization, we make a new friends that can be a long time life friends that I think the teamwork can be built by approaching it emotionally. So by being in a emotional bond and created a good relationship and also friendship to each others and among the members, I think it can um, bring a responsibility and also a sense of belonging in for the organizations, and it will run smoothly by doing a friendship and also a lot of communication and also create a emotional bond with among the members. I think that's from me.
Okay, I definitely have to agree with everything you said there. I think having this connection and like a bond and approaching other people with good intentions is really, really important. And I think it's something that I think often leaders actually forget to do that with the members, is that they always are just like trying to just achieve their goals, and they forget that their members are human, and they gotta connect with them regardless of their position and whatnot. I'm feeling the connection between all of us here right now. I think it's great. So, Harinesh, how would you introduce teamwork to your organization? Or if you were to start a new organization, how would you introduce teamwork to it?
All right, okay. So I think for this, maybe I can share a bit of my experience in my Syntech club. Okay, so when I enter foundation, the first problem is I just joined as a committee member in the Syntech club. So the problem that is, I will say there's a problem in leadership itself. Okay, so that's the time when COVID hits, and I would say the entire club almost collapsed. We don't have any activities running, and after that, when we entered 2020, this January, during the January time, we only have four committee members. Just imagine an organization just having a four committee members without any other members at all. And we don't even have organization charts. We don't even have an organization. Okay, but after that, we try to think of uh, trying to recruit new people. But how can you recruit new people, and how can you make sure all those new people are really have good teamwork among each other? Because we already fall down, you want to pick up quite a bit faster, so you need good people which can engage with each other even more better, even faster, and not newbies, right? So okay, so the first thing about having a introduction to teamwork is making sure that they know their targets, they know their what they're gonna get, because that's the main thing. When you join an organization, you're not gonna join it, okay, I just gonna join it, I gonna help this organization to achieve this vision, but you didn't get anything. So you must make sure what you are getting at the end of the day. Let's say you are in a technology club, so at the end of the day, I'm gonna come up with a AR/VR project, so that I can put in my resume, and it's gonna be fantastic when I show it for job seeking situations. So that to have a team, you must have people that have same patience. So when same the people with same passion work together, they will think about, okay, I can do this, I can achieve this amount of things. And when this kind of things happens, you will be able to reward each other rather than somebody else rewarding yourself. You will have the satisfaction that you are in the team, you are working to them, and you are actually getting something back. Okay, I think that's all from me.
Thank you. And I really like the story sharing in the beginning, and I think that really like helped us visualize what was actually going on and how like it was you guys able to like pull through that. Um have all of you answered the how to introduce teamwork? I think
Yeah.
we all okay. Okay, the next question that we have is, have you ever found it difficult to work with your team members? If so, how did you overcome those difficulties? I would like 100% honesty when answering these questions right now. And, you know, if you have dirt on anyone, you guys can spill. It's okay.
Okay, I think I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
Um, have I ever have a difficulty working with my members? So I think it is a very obvious question where it is obviously I ever had difficult to face my members because sometimes there is miscommunications with me and the members, and also sometimes there is miscommunications between among the members. I think this is because that we put a lot of emotions that do not match the portions. I think that when we in organizations. We have to have emotional portion where in this making of every decisions, how to communicate, and also how to be able to tell our visualizations of our visions. We have to put emotional things in it, but it has to have a portion. Don't put it like 90% includes emotions and also only 10% of logics. I think that how we tend to create miscommunications among our members where we put too many emotional things or too many concern in our heads. And this is where actually private communications important. And we have to focus on the problem, and if we do not focus to the problem, we have to focus on how to solve the problem. I think that is um, sometimes like my members and also how the students right now is they have to they really aware of mental health. But I think if we like so many insecurities and also so many overthinking, I think it's not very good for our mental health also. But um, that it can be doing something to our activities and our actions, because by being overthinking, it can stuck us, and also it can be trip and trip for us. And also by being overthinking, it can um, relate to our members, and the members in our organizations tend to have a lot of I think not insecurities, but they a lot of concern in their head, because we have many members from many other academic program like engineering and also etc. And also we have the young members who also the very first time in our organization. So I think they have difficulties in projecting and managing their time with how to go to university and also how to manage that with the programs in our organizations, and that can lead to miscommunications with other members, and they tend to not talk about their weakness. So I think communications is very important, and also we I solve this problem by being connected to each other and also create private communications with the members. And also, I am focusing on solving the problem and not overthinking it with why these problems happen, who's wrong, who's right. I think that is very important. And also, we have to lower our ego and also the put forward for the solutions instead of focusing on the problem. I think that's for me.
Thank you, Karina. I think I have to agree with everything that you said as well just now, especially the part about understanding everybody's emotions. I think that really is the theme for today is that we are all very, very aware of everybody's mental health and our members, like just awareness in general. And also, I think the being having private communications with one another, I think is also really good. It actually helps people like actually properly understand one another. um so yeah, I think that was a very, very good solution to the problems that you were facing. Next, between Taiki and Harinesh, you guys want to rock paper scissors to find out who goes next, or
Okay, second one, it's me.
all right, okay, go ahead.
Well, thank you. Mental health is very important things. I also think I find it very difficult to work together. It takes a lot of time to reach a common understanding because everyone seeks different things, difficulty, and then you have to motivate and follow up to make sure you are moving in the right direction so that everyone could work together. I placed people in groups according to their areas of expertise and gave them concrete things to do at first. But then I encouraged them to carry them out for their own. I think.
Thank you, Taiki. All right, Harinesh, you wanna go?
Alright, okay. So the question is, have I ever found any difficulties working with team members, right? And then how I overcome it. So it happens all day, almost every day. You will have miscommunication with your the main problem in every organization is miscommunication. When the leader say A, the members will give something B or C. But then, where does the problem actually come from? Is like I said before, is mainly focused on communication, communication, and communication. You must always make sure that the communication with you and team member is clear. Uh, okay, so if you want to have a like making a statement, a task, maybe some of them doesn't understand what you are actually trying to say. So some of them, even the member themselves, they are shy. Some of them, when they enter the meeting, they are physically there, but then they mentally they are not ready for it. So when you say, okay, can you do this? Can you do this poster? Okay, they will say, okay, okay, okay. But then at the end of the day, the poster came out all with wrong information and everything like that. It's a normal thing because we do understand we are students, we have other things to think about. So I will say when you setting up a meeting, make sure that you have a agreement with all the members firsthand to make sure that they are actually mentally there and not just physically there. And then they can give out a proper commitment, hear things out properly, and yeah, do the task appropriately. And then other than that, in my organizations, some of the main problems I meet is uh, I will say uh, skill issues. Even though we have um, a lot of workshops for to develop certain skills, sometimes when we recruit members, they tend to give fake informations or they have limited skill sets in those certain things. So when the leader have certain higher expectation of the product, they doesn't they the members can't afford to give that up. So this kind of things is where I do believe that in an organization you will have all those HODs, head of departments, and certain things. The leaders should always contact them, make sure that okay, what do you actually need for a member, what kind of problems are they facing actually. So like I say again, to conclude it, it's all depends on communication. How frequently you communicate with them, it's how the best you can come out of it. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Harinash. Okay, moving on to the next question we have is uh, how do you keep your team motivated despite the conflicts and obstacles that your organization faces? Yeah.
Okay, I think I'll go first to answer it.
Okay.
So the question is how I keep my team motivated despite the conflicts and also obstacles. So um, the first thing that we have to know that every person have their own problem in their life. While being a members of an organizations, we also an individual with uh, something happen in our lives, individual lives, in our family, or also in our academic activities and also organization. So uh, it is normal to have sometimes that we get down, and also sometimes we kind of not have the feeling to be motivated. I think how I keep my team motivated is by keeping the connection with them. Like I tend to we tend to do like some things like games and also fun interactions where we not focusing on the organization. We forget about the organizations, but we enjoying the moment as a friends, yeah, like that. So we certain help we have like gatherings and also uh, meetings that we excluded the organizations for a bit, and we only focusing on enjoying the situations and also enjoying the activities. It is purposely we purposely do it because like this sometimes we kind of feel like we do not motivated to continue our life. Sometimes that also happens to me and also happens to my members. So we create certain activities that we have to forget about all about our organization's vision and also the project of our organization that sometimes can burden us like forever. Like it doesn't have any end point because that is something that can make a burden to us. So we create activities like the one that I mentioned in above, like games or sort of interactions that only focusing on enjoying the moment, not not thinking about the project and also the organizations. I think that's how I keep my team motivated, and also by creating the games, it doesn't mean that we not putting any value to the organization, but we put value to each person's in being motivated as a person. So by being motivated as a person and give support to each other as a person and friends, I think that can remind us again how to live our life, how to what is there to achieve, who is the people that we want to be with, and also who is the people that we want to make us proud of, like our parents and also our family. I think that is the key, and also how we support each other in life. Also the is also how I motivate my member, and also how they motivate me to be a person today. I think that is from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Karina. I think that's a really good way to keep your team motivated, like to balance out between like fun and work. I think it's really, really important, and it also keeps everybody in check as well. Harinash and Taiki, which one of you want to go next?
Hello. I think I will go next first. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
All right. Okay. So, how to keep your team motivated even though there are obstacles or like conflicts? So the first thing is, like Karina said, you will have. I do believe that every organization they have their own family days or like engagement that doesn't focus on their vision and mission. I mean that's a really good thing to start out because you need to make sure that they are happy, but then you need to make sure the engagement with each member among the organization itself is good. So these kind of activities like family days or like game sessions. Maybe the game session doesn't need to be related to anything about your club. It can be just a chill, maybe a sport kind of things that can actually make sure that your members are happy and good. And another thing is, I will say after the COVID-19 pandemic, most of the students, I think they are starting to develop mental health problem. So there another uh, like a workshop or event that I would suggest for all organization is mental health awareness event where there will be conduct by some counselors on how to be conscious about your own mental health because at the end of the day you don't want to be burnt out doing all those workloads. So yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Harinash. I think that's a really good way to like look at how to overcome conflicts, how to keep your team motivated despite the conflicts and obstacles that are in the way. And also, like I said earlier, you guys mentioned a lot about being aware of everybody's mental health. I think that is again really, really, really important. Taiki, what do you have to say about keeping your team motivated despite the conflicts and obstacles that are in the way?
Okay. Keeping up with motivating. First, we have to recognize that our members are human beings with emotions. This is means that they do not operate entirely on logic, and moreover, leaders need to be able to take into consideration the feelings of those around them, namely members. This is because leaders not only have to achieve the organization's goals, they also have to motivate people. It is quite difficult for people to keep moving based on the logic alone, and they need to stay motivated towards a certain goal. Leaders they need to listen sincerely to their members and support them intimately. Okay. However, it is difficult to suddenly start talking. Therefore, I feel that it is better to treat people kindly on a regular basis and to have dinner together to deepen the rapport and gradually promote talk. Yeah, from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Taiki. I think really the takeaway for keeping members motivated in an organization is really being aware of what is causing them to not be motivated or causing them to not work as hard as they did before. Um, and like just props to all of you for being actually very, very, very emotionally aware of your team members. I think that's a really good quality to have as a leader, and it's really something that leaders should be mindful of when running an organization. The last question from me, and then we will get into the questions from the audience, is what qualities or initiatives are needed for a leader to help their team or organization succeed? Um, Harinash, would you like to go first?
All right, okay, sure.
All right.
All right, okay. So the first, I will say the qualities will be uh, thinking about other people, that's thinking about other people rather than yourself. That's the first thing as a leader. As a leader, you must think about your teammates rather than yourself, but make sure you don't yourself don't burn out, because that was the point of you being a leader as well. Okay, and then how do you like initiate to help out the as a leader to help out the teams? So first, like I say, I've repetitively said this thing is communication. You must make sure you communicate with your teammates, you understand them, then you start to initiate a plan, like a vision for each of your communication, each of your organization. Sorry. So with that, uh, with all those qualities, you can make sure that those you are gonna recruit in future for your organization have that same traits as you, or maybe similar, or maybe variety but even better than yours, so that when it comes to like solving a problem, or creating a new ideas of events or workshops for the students, it will help them to be more general rather than so focused on just one perspective of just helping all the students. Because maybe in a workshop, maybe your organization is conducting a workshop, some of us will think that okay, you only need to focus on helping how you're going to conduct it, how you're going to help those students out there by a workshop. But at the same time, you must think about what kind of profit can I make from that workshop. So that's why you need all those qualities. Maybe as a leader, me myself, maybe I'm not from a business background, so I need somebody else in my team that is good in business to evaluate whether the what I am conducting in the workshop is is profitable, or it's good to be promoted to what kind of target markets. That's the main thing. All right, I think that's all from me.
Thank you, Harinesh, for that one. I think, like you said, it's really good to like consider, like when taking initiatives, it's really good to like consider what other people, what qualities other people actually have that can actually help you and your team actually do better in terms of reaching your goals and such. Okay, the next person that would like to answer.
Yep, I'll go with.
All right, Karina, go ahead.
Okay, so I think that a leader must be a person who are able to position themselves. Like they can position themselves as a leader, and also they can position themselves as a members. So they have to understand what is the positions of the members, and also know what is what it is required to do as a leaders. And I think I have to quote with something that the education's motto of our the education's motto in Indonesia, which is called Tut Wuri Handayani. So Tut Wuri Handayani means that in front as an example, in the middle as a bridge, and also at behind they become the boosters. So I think that is what leaders mean. That they have to be in front, they have to set an example, and also bring inspirations to everyone, and also by being in the middle, they have to be a bridge for communications, and also they have to know what is it to be able uh, to be achieved, and also what they connected the members, and also the vision of the organizations. And when they put at the behind the line and behind, they have to boost their members, and also bring benefits to their surroundings. So I think it is how leaders to be able to be better, and also give inspirations to the members. But what I also remember is that being a leader is have a lot of suffering. And it is, I take an example from the Indonesian figure like Haji Agus Salim. He is a distinguished Indonesian diplomat who only lives in a rented house with one room, and also uh, he has like 8 children and also a wife, and they only sell Caronis, like minyak tanah to support their life. And also there is Muhammad Natsir, Indonesian's national hero. He only rides his bicycle uh, to his rented house, and actually they can have a luxury life with all this with the prestige they have, but they choose a different path, namely the path of simplicity. I think it is what that is how important a leader is. A leader is someone who wants to fight for many people and also the progress of their organizations to reach their goals. But being a leader can bring a very big benefits and also bring a lot of positive impacts to other people. And sometimes our students hesitate to be a leaders and also hesitate to express themselves. But by being brave to be a leader, I think we can bring a lot of good and also positive impacts to our surroundings, and that positive impacts can also be back to us and also bring happiness in our life as a leader. I think that's from me.
Thank you, Karina. Once again, that was really, really good. I think it is actually something to consider where, as leaders, we must learn to position ourselves in any organization and we must, understand one another. And also, I must say, the motto that you guys have, the being forward and being in the middle and being behind, I think that's also something really, really good to keep in mind, when you are leading an organization. All right, so moving on to Taiki. It's your turn.
Sorry, what's the question now?
Oh, sorry. The question is, what qualities or initiatives are needed for a leader to help their team or organization succeed?
What qualities? Sorry, I don't come up with now, so I will answer later. No,
All right, that's okay.
sorry.
It's okay. We can move now to the questions from the audience. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have now opened the floor for any questions that you may have for our distinguished panel. You may leave your questions in the comments and I will read them aloud. Oh, we've already asked this question. How do you keep your team motivated despite conflicts and obstacles? Um, what inspires you to be a leader? Oh, all right. I think this is a really good question for the panel. Any of the panel would like to answer this one? What
Yeah, I
inspires
think
you to be a leader? Oh, yes, Karina.
okay. Actually, in my life, I never been picture me as a leader, but at a certain point where I met my mentor and also my friends at university, and also I think that uh, the way I learned from them, from my senior, and also I learned about their vision, why they want to be a leader as well, is that they can bring a lot of benefits to the surroundings. I think that really makes me interested to become a leader. How can I inspire other people? How important it is to inspire other people? Because there is a point of my life where I feel really I really feel motivated for doing all my activities. But my seniors at my university, they help me and support me through the lack of myself, like despite the weaknesses that I have and also the um, overthinking that I have with myself. They inspire me to, and they take me back to the ocean, to the to my life, and also they inspire me that by being a leader we can have a good influence, and also we can bring many positive impact to other people. So I think what inspired me the most is that by being a leader, I can inspire others too and give a lot of support to others, that which will be a very can be a turn point for everyone in their life. I think that's my answer. I hope it helps.
All right, thank you very much, Karina. I think that was a very wholesome answer to give, and to open up like that to us. Harinesh or Taiki, would you guys like to add on and answer the question?
Okay,
All right, go ahead.
I answer. So, what inspired you to be a leader? In short, I didn't become a leader by trying to be one. I became a leader as I gradually worked my way up, step by step, and now I acted as if I want to give back to my junior the benefit I have received. Okay. In other words, my motivation is to see everyone having fun from me.
Thank you very much, Taiki. Um, I think that's also, I think a lot of people can relate to that about being a leader, about working your way up step by step, from the bottom, working up. I think that's like how a lot of people do it as well. And I think a lot of people can actually relate to what you said just now. Harinesh, what about you? What inspires you to be a leader?
All right. So for me, uh, being a leader maybe benefit yourself a lot, but what actually inspired me to be a leader is the way I like to help other people, because I do believe that everyone can do anything in their life if they are given certain opportunities. So I myself, I come from a very rural area where during my high school, like my secondary school times, I was never exposed all kind of organizations. So when I came into university life, so I find an opportunity that okay, I am good at certain things like this. So and my colleagues, they are lack of it. So what if I teach them these kind of things? So that's where it all start, where I start becoming a leader. And when you become a leader, you need to consider more about others, where it's sometimes maybe it's a bit hectic for yourself as well. But yeah, that's how it goes. Because when you are a leader, you can't just stop being what you are. You must try to strive for even more things in your life. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Harinesh. I think a lot of people in the audience can actually like understand that about wanting to like help other people, and that's why they choose to be leaders. I think that's a good way to put it, and it definitely gives a different perspective because usually people uh, associate being leaders with wanting to be in charge, wanting to have power. I think a lot of people forget that when you are a leader, you are also somebody that is helping other people. All right. Do we have another question from the audience? Is there another question that we have from the audience coming? All right, coming in a second. Okay. What causes teamwork to fail? Right. So, this one for this question, if any of you have any, failed experiences to share with us, you're absolutely welcome to do so. Would any of you like to answer first?
Um, I think I'll go first, or
Okay.
Harines or Taiki. Do you guys want to go first to answer it?
Yeah, it's okay. You go first. Later we continue.
Okay. Okay. Um, so I think I will share a bit of my experience where um, we actually in our organizations there are certain points that the leaders have to create a concept where we want to make a project, or also something like goals that we have to reach in our period, and also the time by being a leader. But uh, by doing the concept first, I think a lot of my members hesitate to express themselves. They like they just saying okay, 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 okay. But like I think that this is something that Harinesh also mentioned, that they say okay, 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 but they at the end of the time the project are being held with many mistakes and also a lot of something that lacking of. And I think the things that we have to express ourselves more clearly, and also we have to communicate our visualizations properly, because I think by being hesitate and also uh, we if we communicate our visions not properly, or something that to or something, or how we communicate the our visions to straightforward and not being considerate with one another, I think it also brings many fail to the teamwork that we have built. So I think that the hesitations and also the straightforward uh, straightforward behaviors is something that we have to be considerate, and also um, that is something that mostly fail the teamwork that we have. So to overcome that, we have to consider with each other, and also have the confidence in ourselves to be able to express our visions properly. I think that is my answer.
Thank you, Karina, for speaking up about that. I think, yeah, um, when you're not considerate of your team members, I think that's like really the beginning of, a big catastrophe. You really have to start by being considerate and listening, and trying your best to understand what your other members want and such. Harinash and Taiki, what about you guys? What do you guys think causes teamwork to fail?
Right, I think I will take the floor first. Alright, so most of the like make the team works feels like just now as I mentioned, it's always start from communication. Everything start from communication. So what make it fails is poor communication in your teammates, within your teammates, because at best the confusion between you and your teammates is what make all those projects delayed. Okay, all right, and then from when you have that kind of poor communication, it tend to make those employees to have poor attitude as well. So uh, the second one will be inactive of leaderships. Like even if you are a leader, when sometimes you are down, maybe you let's say you are down for you are mentally not good to lead up the team at certain times. Maybe you give the position for that 1 week to maybe your vice president or the one below you, because if you are not in a good position to lead but you are still leading it, and one thing is you will don't have the focus, you are not energized as usual. So and socializing with the team will be even more worse. Okay, and then another one is maybe the lack of motivations with the employees, among employees. So maybe they are personally stressed or having doubts about their own self. So when like I say just now, when you have certain skills, when you give the uh, the higher committee have a bit more expectation that they want certain things, but the members cannot get the job done, it gives them some kind of self-doubt whether okay, am i am I job fit to this kind of position? Am I failing? What if I just get out of this organization because I feel like I'm not fitting in? So all those that kind of things you must solve it to make sure that the team is good enough and always performing, constantly performing. It doesn't need to be like perform all the time, but it should be maintaining at a certain level of maybe 50%, like every you have an engagement, you have something to come up with at the end of the day. All right, that's all from me.
Thank you, Harinash. I think, like you said, and like Karina said, about having good communication, about making sure everybody is motivated in the team and being considerate of other people. I think these are really just core values in ensuring that your organization is doing well and that your organization has like a good, strong foundation. And it really helps you move forward and move further, as Karina said, not move faster. I think that's also really important to consider. Do we have another question from the audience? Ooh, how to increase our confidence so we can be brave to speak in front of many people, because not everybody is brave enough to do that. I think Karina just now mentioned something about encouraging people to be brave. Would you like to go first?
Okay, okay.
All right.
Okay, so this question is something that a little bit hard question, yeah, because um, in growing the confidence to be able to speak in front of everyone is something that we can do by not in a fast, fast term or a short term, but it is have a uh, step by step condition that we have to be able to differentiate, because when we want to speak in front of many people, we have to aware that who is the audience, and also who are we talking to, and also we have to be really um, reflect on what we will gonna say to them. So I think the most important thing that uh, how can we be brave is how is the preparations of what we want to speak about. So the confidence, it is something that I have known, like in my maybe in this year, something that I realized that why do we sometimes hesitate to speak in love of people, like sometimes in our university life where we have to be able to presenting uh, our projects, and also our maybe our education, and also sometimes that the lecturer give us a presentations project, and one of us have to present that, and we have a lot of burden by presenting this project, and also this and that. I think that what makes us hesitate and shy and not be brave in speak of to in front of many people is that because our preparation is not our preparations is not good. And also I think the most important thing is we have to have very good preparations, and sometimes we as a person like to procrastinate, like we have a deadline for like in 1 week, but we only do that task in 1 day before the deadline. So I think that what makes us uh, afraid to talk in front of many people, because we haven't had a very good preparations. So the first thing that we have to prepare on what we're going to talk about, and also we have to motivate ourselves that and do not include any uh, overthinking, or also sometimes as a person we tend to concern about what if I'm gonna say this, what will that person says to me about me. I think that is uh, something unnecessary to be think to be overthink about that, because what happens will be happens. I think like everything will go smoothly, and do not overthink yourself, but be confident and motivate yourself and have a good preparations. I think that that is the most important thing, and not procrastinate yourself. And if you have a 1 week preparations, you have to done it, you have to do it like as early as possible, and do not do it like 1 day before the deadline. And that also for me too, because sometimes I also like to procrastinate myself. Okay, I think that's from me.
Okay, thank you, Karina. I think a lot of people can relate with the procrastinating bit and not preparing early. I think that is also very, very important for I think everybody, preparing early and not procrastinating. Harinesh or Taiki, would you like or would any of you like to go next?
Can I talk
Yeah,
answer?
yeah, of course. You can go ahead.
Okay. Oh, so a little bit mental problem. To be honest, I'm very nervous today. So I cannot speak fluently, of course, but I'm not bravery, but I am simply separating myself from myself, and I'm looking forward to the opinion of different people and many other things. I do not speak for others. I think I should speak in a way that I can understand. I think it's better if you enjoy yourself rather than giving a presentation or speaking to them. Yeah, I think.
All right, thank you very much, Taiki. I think that's also something else that people forget about when they are speaking in public or when they are speaking in front of a crowd. They forget that it's about themselves and about what content that they want to bring, and it's really important for them to be comfortable. Harinash, what about you? What do you think? What tips do you have for people who want to be confident in talking in front of a lot of people?
Alright, okay. So actually, I like all those points spoken by Karina about don't procrastinate, because when you are giving a talk, usually they will give certain times. So you always must make sure you are um, prepared, well prepared. And I do think that most of us, me myself, I am an introvert. Like, don't like to socialize with people that much or talk in front of people. But uh, after some trainings or maybe just going through, I kind of like acknowledge my fear. So when I go to a speech of 200 people, I always look up. Like, I don't usually look at the audience because it will kind of like make me nervous. So, and then just go for it. When you are giving a speech, just talk about how you feel. Like, just be relaxed, talk about it, because you are the one giving the speech, and other people are just listening through it. So it will be really important for you to acknowledge what you are talking, and don't be like don't be afraid that you are making mistakes or anything throughout the talk. Just go for it. Yeah, that's all for me.
Thank you, Harinash. But I think, yeah, just going for it, I think is a really good tip to give. And I think, you have to remember that even if you are just going for it, like Karina said, you need to have the preparations in place so that you do not, not necessarily fumble, but you do not miss your points, and you have, like, you meet what you are actually trying to say. And also, like Taiki said, you also have to be comfortable. But yes, in all, I think all of you made very, very good points about how to increase your confidence in talking in front of a public space. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Okay, how can we avoid miscommunication when we are working together? Um, Very big on communication. I think Harinash, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
So how we can avoid miscommunication? So the main thing is how to avoid miscommunication is just communicate more frequently with them. I think if you're talking about miscommunication, is maybe you are giving one message 1 week before, and then the next message come in after maybe 1 or 2 weeks. So that's where things get problematic. So if you want to give a clear message to your team, make sure you make it frequently to them when you are working together. I think that's the best, or like things that we can make sure to avoid miscommunication.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on the talking more frequently. I think some people would say that it's easier said than done. A lot of people, are unable to communicate well, and it's actually harder for them to communicate with people. But I think that is a very good first step to take when you want to avoid miscommunication when you're working together. Karina or Taiki, you guys can go ahead. Whoever that wants to go next.
Yep. I think I'll
Okay.
go first.
All right, go ahead.
So I think that the how to avoid the miscommunications is how we able to express ourselves well, because if we hesitate to express ourselves, like we are giving some tasks, and actually we cannot do this task, and because we have something uh, that we have to be done in also in other organization, also in our activities in our life. So I think if we able to express ourselves well to the certain person, and also our members, I think it will give a much smoother communications with each other. Because if we given a task, it doesn't mean that we have to do it like in early and you are the only person that have to do it, but we can pass it to the other person that available. And also we should not overthink that uh, we have a big responsibility to this task, but if we can really do this task, just tell, and being honest is what is important. I think being honest is important, also able to express ourselves well, so we can avoid the miscommunications. And also uh, by being honest, we actually can pass the task to another person. So I think by not overthinking and also express ourselves well is something that important to avoid the miscommunications. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina. Again, I think that's really good points to add to how to avoid miscommunication. Being not hesitating, and being honest in what you want to say. I think a lot of people actually they hide their feelings, and it doesn't actually create miscommunication, but it creates this sort of gap where you feel like, oh, this person doesn't understand me, but in turn the person actually did not actually say what they were feeling and how they wanted to go about. Taiki, what about you? What do you think can be done to avoid miscommunication when working together?
Okay. To avoid miscommunication, mm, we should be aware. We should be aware that what I take for granted is different from what others take for granted. Namely, I and both and you are completely different person, and it is then better to share a lot of information. Of course, don't hesitate to share information even if you are in a different hierarchy or position. And I think it is an quite important job with a leader to create such an atmosphere. Yeah, this is all.
All right, thank you very much, Taiki. Now, for the grand finale, we have one last question from the organizers for the panel. What is one piece of advice you have for students or just people in general that aspire to be a leader or is currently a leader?
Okay, I think may I go first?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, maybe a little advice for me is that with leadership, it will be easier for us to bring good deeds to and provide benefits for our surroundings. And that's actually what inspired me to become a leader, and also what I learned from my mentors and also my seniors, that by being leaders, we can do and we can bring many positive impacts to other people. But and to for the one who wants to be a leader, or for the one who wants to be a future leaders, you can focus to spread the benefits to many people and spread good things, that you can do more than anyone else out there. Because by being a leader, what your decisions can affect many people, so you have to be considerate, and also you have to be able to visualize the visions of your organizations, or also equip your visions with the other members as well. But, the most important thing is that what we sow is what we reap. So from the struggles by being leaders, the hardened, the burden, and also the hardships that we went through as a leader, many benefits can be spread and good deeds then we can achieve in the future. So I think that is the most important thing. And you have to be motivate yourself that in this life there are many person that can be happier with your surroundings, and also I think that is for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karina. Harina, Shaw, Taiki, would you guys like to add on to that?
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Um, I don't think you can become a leader just by trying, as said previous. Rather, I believe that you become a good leader by looking after the people around you and motivating them, adjusting a schedule, and leading your organization to success. Or in pursuit of a certain goal, it is quite important to push yourself toward a certain goal, but it is other people who actually do the work, okay? Namely, a leader is a conductor of orchestra. What I'm trying to say is this. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's all.
All right, thank you very much, Taiki. And lastly, Harinash, would you like to add to that?
Alright, okay. So that one piece of advice for all those new, maybe you are trying to be a leader. So I would like to say this one thing like fake it until you make it. So like let's say even if you are on the road to becoming a leader, for instance, where you can bring an expression to a table or something like that. There's a lot you can do by preparing yourself first to make sure that you yourself have all those soft skills or certain things. It depends on what kind of organization you are entering. So make sure you have all those maybe a best skill. Not all leaders need to have all those technical skill actually. Uh, a- as a leader, you just need to have main thing is you need to be have to considerate. You need to have good communication skills. You need to be how do you say, to be more strategically strategize how your vision of organization goes by. And other than that, don't be shy. Just go for what you are going to try to do. Learn how to delegate things to other people. Like that's the main thing. You must learn how to delegate your tasks to other people rather than you doing all of it. And to be a really perfect leader, try to have a management strategies as well. Like when you have certain problems, your management organization chart, you must change according to your visions. It's like maybe this year you have certain vision, like you want to achieve this, so you must have all those management skills that you can adapt all the times. And the most, the last thing I would like to say is stay organized and always be an active listener to all your team members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harinash, and the rest of the panel for that. So, with the final oration by Harinash Analaki Salvaraju marks the end of our first session this morning. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to convey our sincerest gratitude to our prestigious speakers for their generosity in both time and knowledge. And to our wonderful participants, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. And that is all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the moderator and the three panelists for the beneficial knowledge that you have imparted. I am sure that everyone in attendance has been given the insights on how working together can develop stronger connections. Attention to all audiences, you are required to fill out the Google form, send in Telegram and the YouTube chat box to obtain a certificate of appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a 15 minutes break before moving on to the next slot to replenish our energies by drinking some water. You are welcome to return at 11 a.m. to begin our fourth session, which includes a very intriguing topic. See you soon!